season started with some dusty, dirty dogfights and heydays in Minnesota. The result? Some surprises and some outcomes you could set your watch to. Today, conditions have changed, and so has the outlook.
12 inches deep of just straight mud.
You got to be on your game.
You know, anything can happen out there.
I think it's going to be a challenge for everybody. The talent here is amazing.
Everyone's good, you know, there's stiff competition all around.
Your mother told you not to play in the mud. Terracross doesn't like to listen. Stop number 2 from Jacksonville, North Carolina is next. Just a few minutes from historic Marine Base Camp Lejeune, we've set up our base camp in Jacksonville, North Carolina for the second stop of the Mystic Terracross Championships and Support Our Troops event. Hi everybody, Kevin Barnett alongside Jim Beaver. Before we talk about the racers, Jim, we need to talk about the course and the conditions.
No doubt, Kevin. As if Terracross isn't difficult enough normally, we've added 12 inches of rain over the past week and created some difficult conditions for both the course builders and the drivers. Luckily, with the help of our volunteering Marines and local businesses, we've been able to get this course in a muddy but great condition. As for the drivers, vision will be the biggest X factor out there. Get out front and you'll be able to see. Get caught behind and you'll be eating mud all race long.
Tricks of the trade definitely going to be needed. Fill some spots with foam, load up with tear-offs, and strap in. So we look at the competitive pro racer lineup. Jason Luberg, our 2015 champ right there. One of our course builders. Man responsible for trying to make something out of this muddy mess. Let's catch up with him and Hubert Rowland, who had responsibility in North Carolina.
Basically, we're looking at a big muddy field that is going to be Terracross this weekend.
As you can see, we're looking pretty wet. We got a lot of rain, just trying to work around that, plan for it. We got a little bit more coming, then after that, we'll really start to shape it up and really make it good. But I think it's going to turn out fine, even with all the mud.
We're making the best out of what we got. We got Jason and his cousin and the guys out there. They're trying to make a track out of mud, work a miracle, and we'll kind of just wait and see what happens.
We dug a pond out there in the middle, and then he's pumping it, you know, getting all the water off the track itself. As long as we keep the track, you know, dry, then we can work with it. So that's the strategy so far, is keep it draining until last minute and then cut everything in. Just watch for people spinning out in the turns, because that's going to happen a lot. You know, everybody's going to, you can't do the turn twice the same when it's muddy. It'll be hard. Would rather it not be mud, but mud's different. We don't ever run in it, and it evens the playing field a lot, makes things a lot different than usual.
The mentality of just stay calm and finish will get you further in this than it will in other things. So we'll just hope for the best.
It's rough, tough, and muddy Terracross.
Jason Luberg sounds like he has the right idea, coming in with a positive attitude. How will that serve him? We'll see as we get into our fly racing flyover, Jim Beaver. One lap of what could have been in North Carolina.
And kicking things off, we got the Walker Evans whoops. And following straight after that, it is the Mystic Mangler. Then we've got a big, flat, drifting 180-degree corner, and then a big, long stretch of the Fox Proving Grounds with a couple of big double jumps. Got a hard 90-degree right-hand corner, and then another big, flat, drifting corner.
This is significantly different than what we saw at heydays, where it was a lot of tight 180s. This, the long sweepers. Who does that benefit?
The men and the ladies who know how to pitch it sideways and back it in.
If you win, throw some donuts on at the end. On track right now, it's the men's Razor XP1000 Pro Racer class. Jim, we're nice and dry in the booth. We asked our other partner, Laurette Nickel, to put on her Sorels and go trackside.
In pole position, Mickey Thomas, any advantage to this?
Yeah, super stoked to be sitting here on the pole. Gonna try to keep all these guys behind me, keep visibility up. You know, hopefully I can keep all my tear-offs and keep my car from overheating. That's what a lot of these guys in the back are gonna be, you know, having problems with. So yeah, it's a huge advantage to be up here in the front.
How do you keep that clear vantage point?
You know, I'm just going to try to protect my inside a lot, especially on this muddy track where all the traction seems to be on the inside. And hopefully that'll be enough to, you know, stay smooth and keep these guys behind me.
Best of luck.
Thank you.
We've seen what Mickey Thomas can do from mid-pack and try and move forward in the mud. He's up front, and he is within striking distance in the championship.
Yeah, and Dana Creech having a date conflict this weekend, not coming out to this event. Mickey Thomas got a really good chance of narrowing that gap to Jason Luberg.
Here's a look at Jason Luberg. Everyone got on the rain gear. Looked like they're going to a baseball game to just sit around in the rain for a little bit. Cole Coutu in the 21.
Putting on some extra tear-offs this event.
You can tell who's been on track, who has a power washer, and who doesn't as we get ready. 32nd board up. Who can handle the mud? Think back to Kevin Windham as we look at our Optimus starters starting grid. Who likes to get dirty? Mickey Thomas, can he hold on up front? Can Jason Luberg make a quick pass and get to his regular position? Camp Lejeune, Terracross, underway.
Look at the mud fly out here in North Carolina. Oh, we got a dead one at the start. Polaris Razors immediately going into that Mystic Mangler. Oh man, Mickey Thomas gets stuck.
Thomas didn't have enough momentum, hands over the lead to Luberg, followed by Raiders. Moto Shield Pro on board with Mickey Thomas. Just not enough momentum, it looked like.
Mickey Thomas, just not enough speed in this deep mud. Digging. There was nothing left. The Mystic Mangler collected Mickey Thomas.
Thomas goes backwards. Everyone else trying to move forward if they can see the track at this point. Look at the mud fly. There's Thomas back underway around the outside.
Mickey Thomas racing short course in an off-road truck when he's not in a Terracross Razor. He knows how to pitch it in backwards into these corners. He's definitely one to watch for coming from the back now.
Yeah, he has a bunch of work to do. Jason Luberg, you saw him a moment ago. He leads Cody Raiders. Josh Cobb back there in the 66. KCH Lights Ride.
Looks like Raiders about 2 seconds back of Jason Luberg at this point. We've said it all season long. Jason Luberg, he gets out front. Very dangerous. Looking over his shoulder. Seeing about, looks like an 8 to 10 car length over Cody Raiders.
E3 spark plugs on board. Inside and the rear view for you. Luberg hucking it in the GBC Mystic Ride.
Looks like the mud and the finish line collecting the number 52 Walker Evans Racing Razor. Not where he wants to be.
A look behind. There is the finish line. And there'll be a collision. No, it just falls down. It just comes down on its own. Right there across the track. I mean, these Razors are good, but no reason you have to jump the finish.
Wrong place at the wrong time for the Walker Evans Razor.
We'll get things cleaned up and reset in Jacksonville. Having a little fun in the mud.
The 2016 Terracross Championship on CBS Sports Network is sponsored by Polaris Razor. By Mystic Lubricants, the official racing lubricant of Terracross. Learn more at mysticlubes.com. And by Sedona Tire.
If you're looking for something where people can come and get a patriotic feel, can feel like they are giving back to the military and they're in that world, we're it. Being able to give that experience, having the Marines out here helping out at the event, it's always great to be able to show them that Jacksonville's more than just a Marine town. There's more to do here, but bringing in people from the outside to say, hey, we appreciate all that you're doing. It's awesome that we can provide your drivers and Terracross drivers the opportunity to be in a military town, to interact with the Marines on the course, to get a chance to see them hauling dirt and playing in the mud just as much as everybody else. And it's, we're all in this together to make this event work. And I think the Marines do a great job of being a part of it and knowing that they're just a part of a bigger picture at all times.
Since 1941, a special relationship between Jacksonville, North Carolina and the men and women of Camp Lejeune. Had a little incident with the finish line framework. Got to get that back up. Timing and scoring on there, Jim Beaver.
Yeah, wrong place, wrong time for that Walker Evans Racing Razor. But that means we're going to have a restart out here at Jacksonville, Camp Lejeune.
They completed a lap, so it will be single file with Jason Luberg in the lead. Raiders behind him. Green flag waves once again.
Look at the veteran Jason Luberg. Hits the gas, immediately looking over his shoulder. Very aware of everything that's going on behind him.
GBC Mongrels, the honey badger of tires. They don't care. Around the outside, here comes Raiders.
Yeah, it looks like Luberg's got the line going into this drift-style corner.
Raiders crossover inside.
Oh, look at that, man.
No
Dicing
good.
it up.
The inside line is working. You heard Mickey Thomas say that earlier.
Luberg shutting the door on Raiders. Look at that mud fly. Drivers going through tear-offs right now, ripping them left and right.
Will we see a different strategy in terms of following in lines given the mud?
Really interesting that you bring that up, because when you're in second place, you either want to be really far back to stay out of the mud, or you want to be all over his bumpers so their mud is actually going underneath your car. But if you're about a car length back, that's when you're ripping tear-offs and you can't see anything.
All Cody Raiders sees right now is the back end of Jason Luberg, the champ, up and over the Mystic Mangler. Everybody clean there. 1, 2, 3.
Look at how much cleaner Jason Luberg's car is than Cody Raiders and Cole Coutu right behind him.
That is the 21 of Cole Coutu, the Hanco Fox Orange XP 1000.
Luberg dialed in right now, being chased by Cody Raiders and Cole Coutu. Jason Luberg, clean air. He's loving life. Look at that groove. You got like a blue groove forming in that corner.
Have you ever driven sprint cars? Might be helpful in this case.
Absolutely. Backing it into these corners.
Walker Evans whoops happening now. Straight into the Mystic Mangler goes our leader. The number 1 defending champion, Jason Luberg, in the GBC Mystic Razor XP 1000 from Polaris.
You can tell these drivers as they hit that Mystic Mangler, it's so muddy and there's so little traction, they're having to hit it harder than they normally would just to get up and over the Mangler. And there we go, just like we called it, with somebody coming up short, not enough speed, couldn't get over. Cody Raiders looks like he's doubling through that Fox Proving Grounds.
Raiders giving it everything he has. Looks like Cole Coutu is done. Stuck. The Fox Proving Grounds claim another victim.
Jason Luberg's car so clean at this point. Looks like it did at the start line. Everybody behind him, it's a muddy mess.
Hopefully those racers coated their XP 1000s with that Moto Shield Pro, make it a little easier to clean after this one.
No need for that for Jason Luberg out front, checking out on the competition. 14-second lead over Mickey Thomas.
That was Hanco Fox Cole Coutu. He is stuck with the yellow flag waving in that portion of the track. As you look back, Coutu just gives out right there, trying to double through that section that Raiders had gone through.
Look at the mud fly there on Mickey Thomas. Mickey Thomas in second spot. He's going to inherit the second spot in the championship with Dana Creech not running this event. So you've got 1 and 2 in the race, also sitting 1 and 2 in the championship. Mickey Thomas really needs to get around Jason Luberg.
Performance, power, suspension, and agility for any terrain is the line for these Razor XP 1000s from Polaris. And they are proving it right now in the mud. Don't forget, these are identically prepared stock machines. You can go out and buy one just like this, take it out and have your own fun in the mud.
Just shows the capability of these Polaris Razors. You can go from an event like Heydays, where it was dry, big jumps. Here we are in North Carolina. It's a rainy, muddy mess, and these Polaris Razors are taking it all in.
Thousands of unique accessories available. Polaris products, make it your own. These are stock, identically prepared. You can make yours, yours. Luberg making this race his. He's having no problem. Throw at him sweepers, 180s. The Mystic Mangler, it matters not to the number 1. I feel like Jason Luberg came into this with a whole host of other competitors, but he's establishing himself as a Terracross specialist and the man to beat every time out.
Jason Luberg, he is so dialed in Terracross and these Polaris Razors. Doesn't matter if you're throwing him up against the women in the shootout races, if you're throwing him against the men, the celebrities. Jason Luberg is just so ridiculously fast. You watch his lines, and he's just taking different lines than everybody else. Just a veteran. I don't know if it comes over from that ATV racing that he did in the past, but there's number 2 in the championship.
On board with Mickey Thomas, so the 44 now stuck on course. These conditions are rabid. You mentioned not only the cleanliness of the side of Jason Luberg, but the underneath of his vehicle as well. He's been keeping it clean, choosing his lines.
And Luberg just completely checked out. You don't even see him in the picture. There's a good race going on behind him. He has no idea what's going on, though.
Josh Cobb, KCH ride. He is done. Luberg continues to dominate.
Looks like Hancock taking over that number 2. Look
He's
at
just
Luberg.
out for a Sunday drive.
He's just waving. He's passing people in lap traffic. And Jason Luberg is so smart. He knows he's got this race in the bag at this point. He's backed it down a couple of notches. He's saving the car for later on in the weekend.
He's not even looking. He's just wandering around the course. Jason Luberg is the man. He is 20 seconds up on second place. Cody Rader's 2 laps down after his stop. He's back underway. It continues to be the Jason Luberg show in Jacksonville, North Carolina, a town intertwined with its military roots. Stop number 2 is the Mystic Terracross Support Our Troops event in Jacksonville, North Carolina. Attached to Camp Lejeune, established in 1941, an opportunity for these young racers to learn more about the history of the Marines.
Being out here, it's definitely eye-opening and crazy when you see these, big statistics. It, broadens your eyes, and it's crazy to put it into perspective like this, but it's also really cool to see the memorial and see all the facts and to see everything that they brought together and then all the pieces of artwork they have to show. It hits you, right in the stomach, especially when you're walking through and you look at all the names on the glass, and usually you just see it as a number, but you actually see people's physical names and individual placards. It's definitely eye-opening, and it's sad. I really like to, pay respect to people in the military. I'm super glad we'll be able to come out and, put on a show. I know it's always great just for racers or other racers to watch, so I know that they'll enjoy it too as well. I'm super excited to, bring a show and just have a good time racing.
170,000 personnel, military related, surrounding this area. An area right now that is covered by a track for Terracross. Stop number 2, Jacksonville, North Carolina. Kevin Barnett alongside Jim Beaver, watching Jason Luberg do what he does, win races.
Jason Luberg only a couple of corners away from taking yet another Terracross victory. If he wasn't in the driver's seat before for this 2016 championship, he definitely is now.
There's a look at Luberg in the driver's seat. Final lap. He leads 93. Matt Hancock, ATVRiders.com racer, by 20 seconds. Yeah, keep looking back, Jason. There's nobody back there. All by himself. It's like running practice laps.
Maybe a few more waves at the crowd or something from Jason Luberg, right? Matt Hancock, though, we got to talk about this kid. New to the Terracross series this year, and, right there in the mix for a podium. Pretty solid result for Matt Hancock.
Ray Bullock, another ATVRiders.com racer, number 11, currently in 3rd. Couple of looks there at Andy Ives, HMK Polaris number 4, as the checkers wave. Competition to the end for those 2 racers.
Josh Cobb in 4th. I think one of the best results Josh Cobb's had the past couple of years as well.
It was Luberg at the start along with Mickey Thomas, but Thomas would have this problem immediately on the Mangler.
Tough break for Mickey Thomas. Definitely hurt him in the points championship.
After a red flag and a single file restart, Jason Luberg established control and took the win. Hancock and Bullock also on the podium. Let's head down now to our Polaris winners interview with Lorette.
Two-time defending champion and the winner. Congratulations. You are doing so much out here, building the track and racing. Is it distracting?
It is, you know, especially when you have a track like this that's muddy and we're fighting the rain and just Mother Nature. It takes away, because I'm focused on this, because this is for everybody versus, you know, just my car for myself. But still, you know, pulled off a win, did really good today. It went really good.
Now, when this track is breaking down, how do you as a driver keep it together?
You know, you just try and go where other people aren't. You know, it's getting so muddy that if you just follow, it's just getting deeper and deeper. So you got to try and explore and find new territory.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
Doesn't matter the course conditions. Jason Luberg dominating. He extends his points lead here, 17 up now, Jim Beaver.
17 points over Mickey Thomas. Mickey is fast, but with only a couple of rounds remaining, going to be really tough for Mickey Thomas to make up that gap.
Heydays in our first stop saw history made. We had the Mystic Shootout. We also had the Monster Military Hero Class presented by Oak Grove, the brainchild of our own Paul Thacker, to give back to some of the military heroes, give them an opportunity to race.
Absolutely looking forward to it. Obviously a lot of different race conditions than the last race, so I'm just looking forward to getting out there and learning more, representing Optimus and representing the military class.
A perfect venue for the Monster Military Hero Class presented by Oak Grove. It's up next.
Being out here in Camp Lejeune, it's awesome. There's a lot of people out here that I know who've moved here for military reasons and stuff, so actually being able to come out and check out the town and put on a show for all the people in the military, it's awesome to see and it's awesome to do.
It's awesome to have their support out here, and we can entertain them for a little while, and they kind of get a break from military life. So it's cool to see these guys out here, talk to them, and I just want to thank all of them. They fight for our country, and we're hoping to put on a show for them.
A little broader world perspective for the racers of Terracross at the Support Our Troops event. You may wonder, how do you get one of these machines started? Optimus is the company behind it.
We're very honored to be here, to be a sponsor for all the vehicles, be a race sponsor. Optimus Power Sports, our Power Sports division. We manufacture the OEM starter motor for all of the Polaris Razors and Rangers. We're on every one of these vehicles. Reliability, you know, Optimus received every award that Polaris had to give last year. Obviously, reliability is important when it comes to starting your vehicle. Don't want to get stranded out in the woods, get stranded out in the snow. And in race conditions, these vehicles, you know, they can stall out under race conditions, and if you can't start it up again, then you're last. So, very important.
Jeff Skase with a unique view of all of this. He's lined up next to Paul Thacker out of Anchorage. The Monster Military Hero Class presented by Oak Grove. Skase himself, a former Green Beret. Paul Thacker would get started with a little bit of mud in the cockpit.
Oh, Paul Thacker, man. Good to see him back out on track. Jeff Skase, so he's going to have his hands full with Skase. Skase looking solid at Heydays with a couple of podium finishes. Going to be tough to catch.
Skase in the 124 would get it done in the mud, no problem. Take the checkers, win a race, get the Polaris winners interview.
Jeff, congratulations, taking the win. You said you just needed to keep the four wheels down. How did you battle through the elements out there?
I don't know, I'm just really honored to be here. I'd like to thank Joe and Paul Thacker for setting up this class and Optimus for sponsoring me. I couldn't be happier.
Are you thinking about the championship at this point?
Absolutely. I mean, I can't help but not think about it. I'm a competitive guy by nature, but once again, I'm real happy to be here, honored to be a part of such a great event and, to represent such a great cause.
Jeff, thank you.
Thank you.
All you people that wear tinfoil hats, this class was not created for Paul Thacker. He brought in some competition. Skase with the win behind them. Tim and Elijah Morton of Morton Trucking, who brought in all the dirt for this event. Would not have been the event that it is without them. You would have been subterranean. So Morton Trucking doing good for Terracross. Here's a look at Daryl Rath.
ATV legend Daryl Rath.
Rath Racing started back in the early 2000s. Basically, I'm a machinist by trade, started building my own parts. Went to the races, people seen my parts. It got to a point where it was more than that, and then everything kind of followed suit from there. My involvement with Terracross is, I've been friends with Joe for a long time, and I thought this was a good place to be for racing, to bring a mix of people together, put them in a spec car, and then let's go and have some fun. Initially, we seen Terracross with some racers. I knew pretty much everybody, but now it's turned into more of a melting pot. I'm meeting new people every weekend. I'm meeting people from so many different forms of racing, and that's what's really cool about it. I mean, for me to be able to do that, I never have an opportunity to do it any other place than Terracross, so it's really awesome to be part of that.
What a unique story. Take your hobby and make it a career as we look at our Optimus starters starting grid. Blake Williams, Bilko up there on the front row, Kozchek in the third row. And let's check in with Lorette, who's down with our pole sitter.
Cody Cam, you are tied with Blake Bilko Williams right next to you. What are you going to have to do in order to pass him?
Well, by the looks of it, how muddy it is right now, the last race, I'm just going to drive easy and try to finish the race because it's so muddy and it's tearing up these things really bad.
Okay. Cody, best of luck.
Thank you.
And right next to him, to his right, Blake Bilko Williams. He has a win under his belt. How are you going to do that again?
You know what? I'm just going to run into everybody and just push my way to the front.
You know what's funny? I don't believe you. How are you going to put your best race forward?
Basically, just get off the start as well as I can and then figure it out from there. Stay out of trouble because you can see a lot of racers breaking right now. It's so muddy out there. There's so much carnage. So avoid that. Keep four wheels on the ground at all times, arms and legs inside the vehicle, and we should be doing good.
Best of luck. Woo!
Moto Shield Pros Blake Bilko Williams with perhaps the most honest answer I've heard in racing. I'm just going to push everybody out of the way. Let's see if he can do it. We're underway with the Sedona Tire Celebrity X Class. Muddy Jacksonville, North Carolina playing host. Kevin Barnett alongside Jim Beaver as the Mystic Mangler rears its ugly head for the first time.
Looks like Cody Cam with the whole shot from the pole position. He's being pushed early on, though.
Cody Cam in the 53 PureTech ride launches for the first time in our Fox Proving Grounds. This is a tough little rhythm section of the Fox Proving Grounds, getting worse with the ruts. How do you cope with those, Jim, as the track evolves?
It's just looking for traction. You're trying to avoid the deep ruts and find an area on the course that maybe not quite as deep.
Or maybe just ride somebody.
Wow, bumping and banging. Looks like Brent Lee back there.
That was a toe job happening.
Gotta love this Celebrity X Division mix of all kinds of characters. You got Cody Cam out there, snowmobile fame, Trevor Layton, snowmobile fame there in second. You got Bilko Williams, FMX star, Brent Lee, he comes from a rally background, Daryl Rath, an ATV background. A mix of all kinds of characters.
Here takes Cody Cam up front, right behind him, the three of Trevor Layton and FlyRacing.com. Those two guys starting to separate themselves. Very little between the two, about 5 seconds from second to third. Again, the Fox Proving Grounds. Razor XP1000s all over the place. Into this big left-hand sweeper. Looking like Sammy Swindell if you're going through here pretty fast.
Look at that blue groove. We talked about it earlier on, but starting to form. Lots of traction down there on the inside. You drift outside and it gets nasty.
Sedona Tire Celebrity X-Class Racing from the mud and muck of Jacksonville, North Carolina. More Terracross 2016 up next. For more information about Terracross, go to terracrossracing.com. Results, driver profiles, and more. Welcome back to Terracross from Jacksonville, North Carolina. Moto Shield Pro, designed for these extreme conditions.
So with our nano coating technology, basically what it does is, the guys are focusing less on cleaning. All the mud and all that stuff with stick glass and everything would just come off by rinsing water. You get clear visibility. They're going to be cleaner because we can actually do the fire suits they're wearing, the helmets, and all the seats and stuff. What we did is we actually coated the hat and t-shirt with our Moto Shield upholstery product. It dries in minutes, and the effect of it is
quite simple. You'll see it just literally beating water. And that's the t-shirt. And here's the hat, just completely beating off the water on the top of the hat. This is ideal solution for us, really, because we were at heydays, it was a little drier, but here where it's really muddy, and you can see the vehicle is just full of mud, and we can really see the product work where it's going to repel off like real easy. I think sponsors will be happy to actually see the vehicles, the drivers, and actual sponsors on the cars, which is pretty cool.
Sedona Tire Celebrity X Class underway right now. Kevin Barnett, Jim Beaver bringing you the action from North Carolina outside Camp Lejeune. And our leader, Cody Cam in the PureTech Razor XP 1000.
Cody Cam checking out on the field. Almost a 40-second gap back to number 2, Trevor Layton, also a snowmobile racer. Man, Cody Cam put on a clinic out here.
We've seen a lot of large gaps in the racing today. How much of that has to do with the conditions?
It all has to do with these muddy conditions out here at Jacksonville. Some of the drivers haven't figured out, others quite don't. Some of them maybe getting tangled up with some of the competitors in the back in this mud, and just checking out on the field.
You can see it. Make sure out of the racing line is one thing. Do not go off the track. It is a completely different deal. You might need a military duck if you head off too far.
Yeah, and we've seen it's almost becoming single file. There's one really good line out here, and then you get off that really good line, and it makes it really tough to get any kind of traction.
We go on board with our Moto Shield Pro onboard camera, Blake Bilko Williams. And a collision here. Elliott getting a little help.
Man.
He did not want any help like that.
Wow, no he didn't. Dave Elliott, he's been getting quicker and quicker in every single event. Just getting collected there in the E3 Sparkplugs car.
Almost got a piece of the Gregory Poole cat equipment that's helped to build this track. You do not want a piece of a bulldozer as tough as these rides are.
Conditions so slick out here. Doesn't look like any malicious intent. It's just so slick. You get into another car, just slide right off the track.
There's a good look at Trevor Layton, flyracing.com, number 3. Behind him, a good battle. That would be the HMS Motorsports Schloth Racing of Brent Lee, the 35. There's Brent. Nice power slide around the corner there, followed closely by the 22 of Bilko Williams.
And Brent Lee, looking at these course conditions, this mud, and these drift-style corners, his rally car background definitely coming into play here. We're seeing his best results so far of the year in 4th position. He's right at home sliding these racers around.
Maybe we'll stick you out there with your Subaru, Jim.
I'd love to take a Subaru out here in North Carolina. Man, looks like a ton of fun out here in these Polaris Razors. Looks like Trevor Layton narrowing the gap there to Cody Cam, only about 6 seconds back right now.
Dave Elliott, a lapped racer here, might be a factor. We shall see. Half the laps gone by in the Sedona Tire Celebrity X Class. Lots of racing remains. Visit JacksonvilleNC.com is where you want to go to learn more about Stop 2 of Mystic Terracross, the Support Our Troops event.
The big thing with mud racing is when you watch it at home on TV, it's like, what are those guys doing? Why are they so slow? Well, the big problem is when you're sitting at home, you can see what's all going on out there. Well, we can't. A lot of time our vision's almost nothing. You know, if we don't get that tear off in time, like there's a big double in the back there, we're flying these cars 60 feet sometimes, and we don't know for sure what we have in front of us. You know, we do have mud on our goggles or whatever. It's a wild card. And that's what some people really don't understand until you put yourself in that car.
Daryl Rath is in that car right now in the 67 as the sun peeks out behind the trees. Jim Beaver and Kevin Barnett bringing you this event from Jacksonville, North Carolina. Terracross 2016.
And it's all Cody Cam halfway through this main event. But Trevor Layton hot on his heels. The snowcrossers doing battle out here at Jacksonville.
That's the PureTech number 53 of Cody Cam. He's been out front all race long. How challenging is it, Jim, when you're out front with no one around you to pace you?
Well, it's really tough for Cody Cam in this spot because Trevor Layton's back there. He's not too far back. He can still make a run at this. but he's not all over the back bumper of Cody Cam. So Cody Cam right now is trying to balance conserving the car and saving it later for the weekend, or pushing hard and making up some time over Trevor Layton. Definitely a tough position. Cody Cam handling it well out here in Jacksonville.
That was Dave Elliott in the E3 Spark Plugs ride. He's a back marker, not factoring in the podium currently.
Look at this flat, wide open drift style corner. There's Bilko doing it to it. You can see those Emmy Sub-Zero seatbelts keeping them in there tight.
Cody Cam followed by Layton and then Williams. Williams just 2 seconds back of Layton, and maybe that's the battle for second and third.
Yeah, it looks like we've got a podium battle in brewing there for second and third. Cody Cam just working his way through this lap traffic, extending that lead over Trevor Layton. Said earlier, maybe he was trying to save the car for later on in the weekend. It's hammered down for Cody Cam right now. He's extending his lead.
We're enjoying the hospitality of Jacksonville. If you want to go to visit JacksonvilleNC.com, you can also visit Camp Lejeune in town. The town and Marine Base intertwined.
Just got a glimpse there of Blake Bilko Williams ripping off some of those tear-offs. Mud coming in. If you're not out front like Cody Cam, you are fighting the mud in the back. Definitely tough conditions out here.
Now, I've seen drivers go either with goggles or with a full visor. Jim, what would you go with in these conditions?
I generally go with a full face helmet. I feel like it keeps the mud out of your face just a little bit more. With goggles, they can sometimes get in the helmet. Inside, you can get it in your mouth. I feel a little bit more confident with a full face helmet. It is definitely driver preference, though.
You want to race it, not taste it, huh?
Race it, not taste it. That's the name of the game. Looks like Trevor Layton pulling off to the side. He was in second place, finds himself dead in the water. He is definitely tasting it right now.
FlyRacing.com, Trevor Layton done, as is the number 15 Down and Dirty radio show ride. That's over. No more publicity for your show, Jim Beaver.
No more. I was cut off. Too much publicity this round.
There's Layton parking it, and then if you look in the back, number 15, Down and Dirty, John Hall, he's done for the day.
All this chaos happening in the back, and you know who the one person this whole thing benefits? Cody Cam.
Cody Cam, there he is at number 53. You can still read his car, read all the sponsors. Pier Tech on the door. I don't think he's pulled a tear off this entire race.
He's pulling a Jason Luberg. He's just kind of driving around. We're going to see him start waving out the window now. Like Cody Cam checking out on the field. 13 seconds over Bilko Williams. And then the veteran Dale Rath back there. I don't know, maybe Rath can make a run there at the second spot with Bilko. Rath, he knows how to wheel these razors.
Patriarch of Rath Racing picks up a spot that could put him on the podium. That inside line has been it all day long.
Cody Cam putting on a clinic out here at Camp Lejeune this weekend.
Coming around, white flag about to wave for the 53 Pier Tech ride. Might be a special win, but this has been a special weekend.
It's an honor to be down here. It feels really good to be this close to the base and have troops, here in the crowd today. They showed up early. They're rooting us on. So we definitely put on a show. Hopefully I'm not the one putting on, the climatic crash or something, but, we're just gracious what they're doing for us and our nation. And I know Polaris as a company, we actually build quite a few military vehicles and support a lot of equipment and vehicles of the off-road to the military. So it feels really good that we get to work with them and then come out and say thanks and put on some entertainment for them this weekend.
The 2016 Terracross Championship on CBS Sports Network is sponsored by Polaris Razor. By Mystic Lubricants, the official racing lubricant of Terracross. Learn more at mysticlubes.com. And by Open Trail.
Stop number 2 in Carolina, North Carolina to be specific. Cody Cam dominant in the Pier Tech 53 Razor XP 1000 Polaris machine. Kevin Barnett alongside Down and Dirty radio host Jim Beaver. We Once again, go on board and give you an idea just how violent this course can be.
Yeah, those Emmy Sub-Zero seatbelts keeping Bilko in tight, but right now it is all Cody Cam. Last lap, big lead. Cody Cam gonna lead this thing wire to wire, it looks like.
Through the Walker Evans whoops, the Fox Proving Grounds, and over the Mangler for one last time, one last lap, and Cody Cam's gonna take home the #1.
Not many drivers have taken both victories in snowcross and in Terracross. Chalk this one up for the record books for Cody Cam.
Checkered flag waves, Sedona Tire Celebrity X-Class race goes to Cody Cam. And there's a look at the 22 Blake Bilko Williams Moto Shield Pro Ride. He comes across the finish line with some gusto.
Looks like Daryl Raff gonna finish up in that third and final podium spot. Good to see the veteran back out here. Missed the heydays round earlier on this year, but Daryl Raff making his presence known out here at Jacksonville.
Everybody's favorite redneck Hubert Rowland is in 4th. Checkered flag still waving for most. Blake Bilko Williams, well, he's out for a little extra. He didn't get enough. Cody Cam gave enough. He walked away with this race, Jim Beaver.
10 for 10, 10 laps out of 10 laps, led this thing wire to wire. Definitely a impressive performance by Cody Cam.
May not even need to break out the power washer, we'll see. But first, we'll break out the Polaris winner's interview.
Cody Cam, great job. What was this track doing? How much was it breaking down?
Yeah, this track was tough with the mud, and just that final we just did, I just tried to save the machine as best as possible and finish off strong and get through the Mangler strong. And a couple laps I seen Trevor Layton behind me, and he was catching me because I would get stuck in it because it was really deep mud. But I managed to stay strong and finish off the race in first place.
Cody, congratulations. Bilko, great job on second. Guys, back to you.
Thanks, Lorette. Let's take a look at the current point standings in the Sedona Tire Celebrity X-Class. Cam, Williams, Rowland, top 3. Tight race there at 1 and 2. Let's go back down to Lorette. She's got Daryl Raff.
Daryl Raff, didn't even know he got third. Daryl, when did you figure it out?
And we got pulled off the track and got motioned over here towards the podium, so I pulled over here, and it's like I wasn't sure if I was second or third. I know I didn't win it, but it was cool because I came from a long ways back and just tried to run my own race and move forward.
What were the conditions like out there?
Yeah, the track's really going away quick. It's so soft and so spongy that the track deteriorates every lap. And honestly, you know, and then you got guys starting to have problems. So you get into lanes that we seriously, once we commit to them, we cannot get out of them. So if someone has trouble in front of them, you're in a parking lot. And that's really tough to go into it because you have to commit to get in there. So you can't wait for it. You just have to commit and go.
Great job on third.
Thank you.
Our Polaris power performer has to be Cody Cam in the 53 PureTech.
Leading this thing wire to wire. Impressive performance by Cody Cam. Snowmobile racer making the transition to the dirt, doing it with some success.
Not only the dirt, but the mud, fighting off the elements, and a host of other Sedona Tire Celebrity X-Class racers for the victory. Yet to come on our next show, it's the women. They come back out and take on the mud. Can Sarah Price extend her streak? Or will it be Shelby Anderson picking up a win? Jolene Van Butte, maybe it's her. For now, Luberg, Cam, Skase, all victorious. This has been Terracross 2016 on CBS Sports Network, 24-hour home of CBS Sports.